good evening, good morning, good night, you lovelies. It is the one, the only Cappy D Bar, and we're here to discuss some wrestling. I hope all of you are having a great one. However you catch this, whenever you catch this. Now, you're probably thinking, Cappy, you just released your shotgun video. Cappy, isn't there supposed to be a Spider-Man brand new day review coming out soon? I mean, you are really working yourself to the bone, and you are correct, young Padawan. I am. What can I say? There's a lot of work to get done, and I must be the one to fulfill that promise. Now, we're gonna touch on this very briefly. As I stated, Raw was like some cool mid. They got a lot of shit they got to work on over there. But, the fact of the matter is, even for 2026 standards, right? A great Raw, some would say almost a perfect Raw, doesn't compare to a good Dynamite. It's just the facts of the matter, right? This Dynamite was very good, and it's better than the Raw. It just is. I mean, like the match rate was very good on Raw. You had workers like Penta. You had promos from LA. A pretty solid promo from not Punk, Seth. There was cool aspects of Raw, solid aspects of Raw. But again, it falls on just deaf ears. This, as I've stated, the goodwill that the dub has worked up with their fan base. This is a very positively received Dynamite. But this is where our paths diverge, right? A lot of kind of like run-of-the-mill regular AEW fans were actually very pleased with this Dynamite. I actually had a litany of gripes that I think are going to be, as I stated, pretty well-rounded, pretty reasonable, and hopefully doesn't fall on deaf ears. Again, due just to the mountains of goodwill that we have been given from this company, right? The real biggest thing that I think I want to touch on for this Dynamite is the crowd and the setting, right? They're in Arena, Mexico, and it completely paints entirely different atmosphere for this Dynamite. It's essentially a collaboration with CMML, and in that lies my very first problem. Right, we get an opening match with Moxley, which is never a bad way to start your night. But it's Moxley and essentially just the Death Riders versus Christian and Cage and the Young Bucks. Now, who can find the biggest problem about this opening match? You guessed it, no luchadors. And it's a very simple complaint. Some would even call it a bit of an elementary, right, a rudimentary complaint, right, to complain that the front-facing theme and the front-facing aesthetic for the night shouldn't be plastered all over the front, plastered all over the end of your show. But again, we're touching on it right now, right? Jon Moxley, very valuable pieces to this match, right? But would this hit the same as, again, right? Just like any random match from any random AAA taping, right? In Arena, Mexico, right? Versus Moxley, the Young Bucks. It's like, it feels almost as if there is a sole idea to get the crowd to where we need them to get. Booking be damned, right? Booking be damned. We need to get the crowd where we need to get. So the opening match, again, it was good. I'm not the biggest fan of the Unk Graps, with Christian and Cage. We've spoken on that many times. But I can say definitively that this was a good opening to your night. Was this a good opening for me personally? No. All right, I would have loved for this just to be again somebody in CMML, maybe a 1v1 bout that the fans have been clamoring for a while, that just due to visa issues hasn't been able to get completed yet. Something small like that. And I know it may seem like I'm asking for a lot, right? But even when you look at this, the other triple threat match, right? Even this triple threat, right, with Tommaso Ciampa, Andrade, and Commander. It's a good match. It's a very good match. Two Lucha Libres, right? And I think that's something that we shouldn't snub our noses at. And Tommaso Ciampa does like the whole American heel gimmick. It's good. Mexico is also one of those crowds where you can kind of do, real wrestling and comedic humor on the drop of a dime. Tommaso is perfect at that, right? Really, sound parts to this match. And then the ending, it didn't feel flat. There's very good match, very good ending. But, MJF kind of comes out to not steal all the thunder. I don't want to say that. I definitely say MJF has the gift and the talent of, knowing how to work a microphone and kind of sucking the air out of the room, if I should say. So he plays a great heel to Andrade's face, but again, a really small personal nitpicky gripes. This is coming right off of a opening match with no lucha libres at all. Our second match has a lucha libre kind of get undermined after an amazing performance against another lucha libre and Commander. So there are very good I would say, Mexican talents on this card that do make a very big difference for this entire Dynamite. But I don't know if it exactly stuck the landing for me personally. But MJF goes out there, he cuts a great promo on Kenny Omega. He says whoever walks out of Wembley Stadium will be his next victim. All right, he officially has his diamond ring back that he stole from Andre El Idolo. Realistically, those two are going to have a bit of a dust up at Redemption. My apologies, at Wembley, I guess, realistically, right? And then after that Wembley match, MJF is going to go on, win or lose, to face the winner of that Ospreay and Omega bout. I don't have an issue. I don't have an issue with MJF being out here, but as I stated, it does feel like it kind of steals some of the air and some of the essence that Andrade and Commander kind of worked in that crowd. Some would say in front of a home crowd, right? So just little things here and there. I wasn't massive fan of MJF coming out though and declaring war on whoever walks out of Wembley Stadium with the AEW Championship. That is a net positive. All right, no matter what way you want to cut it, it is a net positive. So we can move on very briskly, all right, to our next match, which is going to be Willow and the Birds versus Divine 3, all right, and Mercedes Moné, Megan Bayne, and Lena Goddamn Cross. Now, between me and you, all of these women are luchadors, so hey, is what it is. The Brawling Birds, fresh out of Britain, so shaky ground, but from Mercedes, from Megan Bayne, literally to Willow Nightingale, from Mercedes to Willow Nightingale, all the way to Megan Bayne, all three of these women have some kind of stake in a CMML ring against CMML opponents, right? So big ups to these ladies again, being welcomed back by the crowd as they always should be. Jamie Hayter again is a very tough, very hard-hitting player. I'm always gonna be a big fan. I'm always gonna be a big fan of anything that they put up in that ring. I think their intensity, again, I really do think it matches and rivals some of the intensity and some of the hustle that we see in some of those like in these specifically in the dub locker rooms. But I mean, honestly, you can project that to any company's locker rooms, male or female. Jamie Hayter is such a fiery and passionate competitor, and I fucking love it. I love it, brother. One issue that I do have is Willow beat Mercedes, how she kind of beat her for the not the TBS, my apologies, how she beat Thekla for the AEW Women's World Championship, right, with a fruit roll up. Now, I think the biggest complaint that people give to the fruit roll up is that it doesn't exactly make your champions look all big and bad and brooding. I see that there's a lot of mental gymnastics, or should I say there's a lot of mental games, I guess. I don't know why I confuse those two words. There's a lot of mental games that's going into this story with Willow, with Mercedes. So I do think that little things like that can work. Truth be told though, next Willow match, I need to see her like kill somebody and get that 1, 2, 3, right? I'm real old school. A submission's cool. I don't fuck with the count outs and I don't fuck with the stop by disqualification, okay? A roll up is almost like 2 shades away from a count out in my personal book. So I need to see Willow look like the world champion, start putting motherfuckers down. But again, Willow's always going to be good when she touches that canvas. Mercedes goes out there, she plays a very good heel, but she's Mercedes Moné, so she's not that hated. Like, it's honestly, it's funny how this works. After a Boston taping or two, her crowd chants go from about I'd say 70-30 boos and cheers to 60-40 49, 51 boos and cheers, and hey, that's progress, okay? That's progress. This Mercedes face run is on the way. Believe it, okay? Next match on the card is going to be our six-man tag match, all right? Our six-man tag match, actually, very funny enough, took place after another Don Callis involved match with Speedball Mike Bailey and Kyle Fletcher. Now, both of these men come out in lucha mask. You see? See how easy that is? See how fucking easy it is? I apologize. I'm getting tracked. All right, I'm getting derailed. The match that these two put on is only capable if you love the person standing across from you in that ring. There are some insane, nasty, gnarly fucking bumps in this match. But what can I say? Kyle Fletcher and that brain buster, it is golden. It's fucking golden. It's almost without fail, right? It's a pretty strong, pretty protected finisher. I feel like you're getting dropped on your head from 6 feet in the fucking air. It's not that pretty. It's not that pretty. So Speedball Mike Bailey being the insane motherfucker they take a lot of really nasty bumps. He's able to, again, this is a bit of a rematch, so it's nothing new, but he's able to dish out some of that more, vicious, more cutthroat tendencies back onto Fletcher, which opens him up for, a litany of just very good high octane offense, something that Speedball Mike Bailey is almost second nature to him, right? To do that high fly cruiserweight shit. So I'm saying all to say that Kyle Fletcher is still your AEW International Champion, and Speedball Mike Bailey cemented himself as easily top 50 wrestler of the year. He has been on a tear this year, and I think everything that they have been doing, again, it outshines almost any other locker room across the entire globe, except for maybe New Japan or some shit, right? So very impressed, very impressed with this match. Again, Don Callis seems to be everywhere nowadays. Another one of his matches is the six-man tag with, I believe it is Hachishiro, Kazuchika Okada, and Kevin Knight, yes, against Mystico, Darby Allin, and Chris Jericho. I think all of you know what I'm going to say about this match. Why are the two biggest luchadors in this match behind the teams of Darby Allin, Mystico, and Hechicero? I'm not even joking. I tried to catch as much of this match as I could. The idea that Mystico is in main eventing, crazy. That's fucking insane to me personally. It's fucking insane. Was it Mark Davis? No, I think it might have been Jack Doyle, because Mark Davis is in the match with Ospreay. Apologies for that confusion, chat. It's just an amalgamation of Don Callis niggas. That's it. And then again, Hechicero, CMML talent, world-renowned act. He's thrown in here along with Mystico, kind of as a here nigga damn. And then I got Chris Jericho. I got Chris Jericho standing next to Mystico. I'm like, what the fuck am I watching? I didn't ask for this. Now, obviously, I'm not the biggest critic of Chris Jericho. Is he, going to be on Wrestling Observer's top 100 wrestlers of the year? Probably not. All right. The point I'm stating is that Mystico, Hechicero, Lord knows who the fuck else you got back there. That could have just been a fatal four-way or something stupid. I don't know. What the fuck do I know, right? I'm some chud who watches wrestling shows. That right there pissed me off. And I think anybody else who doesn't get the full feeling of luchador wrestling, just like in their daily wrestling broadcast, they were marketed a show where it's going to be predominantly lucha libres, right? And then you give me two lucha libres out of three. Then you give me two lucha libres out of 6 competitors, and one of them niggas is Chris Jericho. So I'm just like, what the fuck, man? What are we doing? What the fuck are we doing right now? And why isn't Mystico, or honestly, them midget niggas, whoever back there that you can pull for a CMML worldly pop, that's who you put in your main event? That's how I feel about it, Chad. I'm sorry. That's how I feel about it. We can even move on to this next segment with Persephone versus Chris Statlander. The match wasn't bad at all. It was actually a very,
very, very good match. Persephone is on a different stratosphere when it comes to wrestling and when it comes to not only crowd work, but her her in-ring psychology, right? That's a real big thing that goes into these matches, and she has no problem playing the heel. She looks the part. She can move at the pace that anybody needs her to. There's no insane botches. Everything is super clean when she steps in between those ropes. I have nothing but praise for Persephone. Nothing but praise for Persephone. Unfortunately, she only wins this match due to outside interference on behalf of Shida, which, I'll be honest, the match was going perfectly fine before that, right? And it seemed like we kind of just threw that in there for the sake of this thing that I like to call the Carney bug, right? I think sometimes the Federation, they get a really nasty case of Carney bug. Like, they'll have the Judgment Day fucking form a conga line around like your third match of Raw, and then for some reason that conga line's the story or some shit. I think a part of Shida's character is that her kendo stick is, for lack of better words, it's practically just like the Muda mist, right? Where anything that can be distracted with that stick will be distracted with that stick. It's like Chekhov's gun, if you will, right? That we're going to get to Chekhov's gun in the Spider-Man review. But just think of Shida's kendo stick as a Chekhov's gun, right? And it's something about, I don't know what it is, man. It's something about the referees looking at the only nigga named Chekhov throw the Chekhov gun into the ring as they make a commotion ringside and go, I wonder how we got here. It's always just a little confusing for me. And then the ending to this match is basically Shida hitting hitting the Strat Daddy, right? Chris Statlander with the title belt, uno, dos, tres, and still your CMLL Women's World Champion Persephone. Now, again, I've glazed this much as I can. It's a very good match. The ending, though, that ending booking session wasn't for me. And again, it's not intentional. I know it's not. But then this paired with the two white niggas in the main event, this doesn't feel like a very Lucha Libre show. And maybe that's me being a mark, right? I don't know. I'm not really taking it as a CMML really putting all fucking all hands on deck, full throttle on the gas. It's not what I'm really getting from this. It's like, hey, here's some niggas that we already kind of signed to you, low key. Here's some non 1v1 matches in a screwed finish. Enjoy your lucha wrestling. I'm like, okay. All right. You know what I mean? Like, unironically, if I were to tune into an episode of Lucha Underground in the year of 2022, right, I'd probably have a better chance of getting some actual Lucha Leap, and then also coming off the backs of, that Grande Americano shit, there is a high stature that you have to reach, and again, this just fits all the styles, like, the British style, American style, Japanese style. There is a Mexican style of wrestling, and I feel like, and again, and this might seem like super small, right? But even going into our beginning match with the Death Riders and the Young Bucks, it's like, it doesn't feel very lucha-esque, but I mean, sure. Sure, all right? Who's going to look down John Moxley, right, on your fucking card to pop the crowd? Like, who's going to look that down, right? Like, nobody on paper, but I don't know. I don't know. I don't really think that the CMML Mexican Grand Slam, I don't know if the theme was really captured with this show, but I guess that's neither here nor there. Last week, I believe it was... maybe like for Collision, was set up for a Mark Davis and Ospreay street fight, and this shit concerned me. I'll be honest, Alec, this shit worried me. Like this, like genuine concern. Will's blade is fine. Like Ospreay, his blade is not even that bad. That nigga Mark Davis. That nigga Mark Davis had like a horrible blade. Now like, oh man, it was fuck. No, like that shit looked like it hurt. Like, Mark Davis bladed himself. I don't know if that was a natural gig. I don't know what the fuck happened there. But Mark Davis does his best to kill Ospreay. There's no other real way around it. There's a really good power bomb onto the barricade. There's a really solid chair spot. It was like an avalanche suplex through the chairs. That was fucking insane. Ospreay, as he does, he finds a way to pull through with his new kind of relentless elbow finisher. And realistically, we are supposed to see some kind of version of this in our Omega match at Wembley. So I really can just draw this back to Ospreay taking the small steps he needs to get where he wants to go. If he really does want to take that next step, putting out niggas the size of Mark Davis, by rendering them completely unconscious, right? Maybe a little bit, maybe a little bit immobile, for a good day or two. It might be necessary. To put a nigga like Kenny Omega down, maybe you literally need to rupture the disc in his spine. So, Ospreay is doing what he can to show the audience that he is ruthless. He never gave a fuck, and any part of him that did give a fuck died when Kenny hit that one-wing angel on him. The end of redemption. As I stated, this was an amazing wrestling show. But small nitpicks and small gripes here and there that personally didn't make this my favorite Dynamite. But as I started this video, I will end this video. An amazing 10-star, impeccable, impregnable Raw will never match up to a good, above average Dynamite. And that's just simply the way it is. Things will never be the same. That's just the way it is. Oh yeah. Okay. All right. That was everything that your boy had for August 5th, 2026 Dynamite. Shout out to Mexico. Viva la Mexico. Am I right or am I right? All right. That was pretty much all of the video, right? I hope all of you stay healthy, stay hydrated. However you catch this, whenever you catch this. A lot of other stuff going up for the rest of the week. Not to forget SmackDown, but Collision, One Piece. A lot of good things. Spider-Man New Day will be going up tomorrow. So I really hope all of you look forward to the gifts. All right. As I always say, all right, you all stay tuned, stay safe, stay beautiful. Peace.